Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be looking at this here. This is the Moondrop Golden Ages 1979. Here's the unit itself. Inside the box here, you get all these tips. You get the charging cable. There's a case and the unit on that side. And then you have the IMs. Plus you get all the stickers and documentation, everything at the bottom. So here's the unit itself. Kind of retro looking, like a little cassette player. There's a pairing button, which is very difficult to reach with the case on, but it's nice that it included a case. Here's your units there, kind of squarish on the back and roundish on the front. Very lightweight, comfortable, really solidly built. One of the big stars is this. You have an app, and as you can see here, there is your different ANC settings: transparent, noise reduction, on, off, and your EQ, which only works apparently if there's audio playing. We have a firmware update, which I have another firmware update, even though I updated it the minute I got it. Apparently there's another one. You can do touch settings, you have a user guide, function settings, LDAC, and you can switch it over to LC3 if you want, which is very difficult to do. Okay, when you're looking through a screen. But anyway, so you have a whole list of settings. And I'm actually going to... Okay, now I got some music playing. Let's see if we can do this. So you have reference, monitor, base head, target, and secret. And these do dramatically change the sound. Bass head was okay. I don't really like the way the bass was presented there. I think my favorite was target, to be quite honest. 5128 target. But you have those different settings, and there's a variety of different settings on the app, and the app works really, really well. So that's always a game changer when something comes with an app, because years ago you used to have, the wireless headphones, and you get them, and whatever they sound like, they sound like. I mean, there were apps that you could download, third-party apps that had, EQ and everything else like that. But for the most part, you were kind of stuck with the stock sound. And this, you can change the sound dramatically. Even though stock, it sounds really, really good. So that said, the construction is good, comfort is good, isolation is really, really good. The ANC works excellent. I think it's like 44 decibels of the ANC. Magnetic right there. They go right back into the charging cables. They do have touch controls, which you can customize according to the app, but I just left them alone. The only problem, I love this case, but you can't really get to the pairing button if you need it unless you have a pen, although you're not going to be using that much. Let's go on the back here. Plenty of documentation here on the back, as you can see. Bluetooth 5.3, you have LC3 and LDAC, as well as AAC, which is really, really good. 10 millimeter distance. Charging time is about an hour, now 1.5 hours for the case. Get about 6 hours. I took this on a bus trip, and I went to the store, I got things I needed, and then I came back, and yeah, it still has plenty of charge. I've only charged this once. So a good charge with it. Even using the app. You see your little sound chart. And just interesting. Now, at first, when I got these, I charged it, and I didn't even realize, I was just excited because I've never had a Moondrop TWS yet. I've had plenty of Moondrops, and I like some of the Moondrops out there, but I've never had wireless from them. So I got it, and I put in my ears and I listened to it for a long time, and I had no idea until I pulled out the box instead of looking at the specs. This has a planar magnetic driver on it, which is very interesting because I'm pretty sure I've had a whole bunch of different configurations, but I've never had a planar magnetic one so far. And I'm just going to pull up the specs here. It's a 13 millimeter planar magnetic driver, super linear, full frequency, double suspension, annular, 13 millimeter planar magnetic driver, patented transducer driver designed and developed from Moondrop by the founder of Moondrop. That's a lot to say. Let's just say it's a 13 millimeter planar driver. That's simpler. And LDAC, 55 milliseconds, low latency gaming mode. I did use this for some mobile games. Worked good. 44 decibels depth, wideband ANC. Worked really, really well on the bus. I couldn't even hear the sound of the people yapping on there, so that was pretty good. And that's basically it. We covered all the specs. The microphone we used the other day in the making of a video wasn't bad, wasn't the greatest, wasn't anywhere close to one of my favorites, which was the Clear, the Hook one. That sounded so clear you could make a motion picture with it. This one was okay for video calls and regular phone calls, and maybe the occasional video, but not the loudest, that's for sure. Definitely not the loudest microphone. So that's just okay. The ANC, good. Not the best that I've used, but very good. Build quality, passive isolation, excellent. The accessories, good, very good. You get enough tips. And they're nice quality tips. They're like a nice, really, really soft silicone. Kind of like if a silicone and foam had a baby, because they fit your ears really, really nice. They have enough squishiness, but enough firmness. So I do like the tips. And, the charging cable is typical. A lot of companies don't even give you that anymore. So presentation was good, opening it up. Really, really nice. Probably one of the better TWSs I've ever opened. I think Clear was like the best because they had like all kinds of chips and these extra hooks and everything in the case, and it was just really, really nice, and you open it up like a book. This was good though. I like the box, nice artwork, nice documentation on the back. Very, very good. Now the important thing is, what is the sound? Now I'm basically going to stick to the stock sound without using the app. I liked it. Bass had a really good bass. Just, not that heavy, but still had enough depth and enough texture to it. It sounded good. And the reference using the app, a little less bass, but there's still good texture there and overall bass quality with a nice kind of speedy punch. I think that it just had the, enough power there. Now, obviously not as much as like a very large dynamic, but it still had a decent kick. There's a decent impact there. Even in bass head, I don't think that it would really be for bass heads. To be honest, it's not a heavy V-shape kind of IM like you'd get from, where are they? Like from these have a potential to be decent, much more impactful bass, although they were quite balanced. Depends on what you're listening to. Trying to think of an example of something that was like really, I know the Clear Alley, the original, oh my goodness, that was some devastating bass on that one. This one, more balanced, more just enjoyable, more detailed, and smooth. So excellent there in the lower end. Not for the bass head. Even if you're using the bass head on the EQ, it's still not bass head, even though it says it. I think that it just had decent body, decent texture, and decent impact, and very good speed, and very good details. Moving on to the mid-range. There's no recession there. Everything sounds good. Vocals, they sound in front of the instruments. There's good separation. There's enough body and texture there, even using the original reference 1 setting. I think a lot of people would be happy with the vocals and the mids in general, because they're not harsh and they're not lacking in detail and energy. So that's very good. This is like the first TWS that's kind of IM sounding in a way. You know, a lot of the other ones have that typical Bluetooth sound, usually a V shape. Some try to do the balance, and sometimes it doesn't come out right. I do a lot of TWSs, and only like 40% of them actually make it to video, because the others are just complete garbage, and I just give them away. Of course, most of those are no names that nobody's ever heard of, and every now and then I get surprised by a no name that sounds better than some of the name brands. Treble on this, very good, decent air, decent sparkle, excellent detail. I think that it is just overall just kind of neutral and transparent sounding, with not a whole bunch of emphasis. It's not really laid back, but it's also not overextended either. Soundstage on this is very good. It's wide, it's deep. Imaging is actually very good for video games, and just ultimately some good separation, good imaging, clarity throughout the frequencies, even bass, mid, treble, just nice and clear, good soundstage. Overall, it's very good. It may not be the best that I've used, but it's very, very good. And I forget what see if I can just pull up the price on this. Okay. So these are about $80. So that's a typical lately. Oh, what is that? Now that case I like. Let me just bring it up for a second. This right here, I think this is adorable. I would have liked if this was the one that came with it, because that is really, really cool. I mean, that would change the whole thing. I mean, I don't know. Just call me odd, but I really do like that case. I just saw that while I was looking up the price, and I was like, wow, I got to get that case. So ultimately, like we said, the microphone is good. It's not bad. I think that it does. I don't think it has like the wind thing like a couple of other ones that I have, because you can hear like the wind in the background, especially if you're moving and it's windy, and it's been windy here for a few days. But the calls are decent. It's not garbage like some IMs that I've had in the past, where you can barely even make out what people are saying and what they're saying. So phone calls handle very well, which is surprising, because I have a Pixel that I used it with, and that doesn't like a lot of things for some reason, unless they start with a G. It doesn't work well with a lot of wireless. One pair in particular, those ear hooks from KZ, it hates those. It actually freezes up with those constantly. And yet, if I use a Samsung, it doesn't do that. So let's get into this. We're getting into the 15-minute mark for this. Good quality. Good ANC. Excellent sound, kind of balanced sound with deep enough bass. Really, really clear, nice, detailed mid-range. Excellent treble, not relaxed, not relaxed. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. Excellent soundstage, very good ANC, and very good battery life. In a nutshell. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Moondrop Golden Ages 1979. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.